Maido! Hi there, Japan fans. Today's show, we're going to talk about pausing. Present Master Shimasho. This is the 7th year of the Presentation Japan Series podcast. We are beaming around the world to you from sunny Minato-ku in Tokyo. And I'm your host, Dr. Greg Story, Dale Carnegie Tokyo franchise owner, the president of Dale Carnegie Tokyo Training, and the 3-time best-selling author of Japan Sales Mastery, which is Zaegyo in Japanese, Japan Business Mastery, and Japan Presentations Mastery, plus Stop Wasting Money on Training, which in Japanese is Training de Okane o Muda ni suru wa yamimashou, and all are available on Amazon. Through this podcast, I want to help you to become a better speaker, to be 1, clear, 2, confident, 3, persuasive, and 4, highly influential with those around you. Don't forget to subscribe and share this podcast with your family, friends, and colleagues. We are not being sponsored by Libsyn, but we value your privacy, which is why we have our podcast hosted by Libsyn. Unlike many other hosting organizations, Libsyn have a strict policy that does not allow access to your private information by anyone. Here is our daily podcast lineup on Apple Podcasts. Mondays, the Cutting Edge Japan Business Show podcast. Tuesday, the Presentations Japan series, and every second Tuesday, the Business Tatsujin no Oshie show. Wednesdays, the Sales Japan series. Thursdays, the Leadership Japan series, and every second Thursday, the Business Pro Podcasto show. Fridays, the Japan Business Mastery Show podcast, and Saturdays, Japan's top business interviews. Now, this is episode number 335. Today we're talking about don't forget to pause when presenting. Nervousness drives speed when we are speaking without even realizing it. The adrenaline pumping through our veins is speeding everything up. Once we get on a roll, it is hard to get off that speeding runaway train. The speed may not always be driven by nerves, though. Sometimes expertise can be our downfall. I was listening to a speaker being interviewed on a podcast, and I was vaguely wondering why I was having trouble understanding what she was saying. It slowly dawned on me that she spoke for long passages, quite quickly, injected no pauses into her flow, and she also had an accent when she spoke in English. That combo was a message killer. She was quite expert in her field, so she certainly had a lot to say and was confident to say it. The content wasn't satisfying, though. Why was that? She was making me work too hard to get her message. She had message giver consciousness, but she didn't have any sense of the message receiver side of the equation. The podcast host just let her ramble on, and that didn't help either. If he was a bit more experienced, he would have realized she needed to speak in segments rather than in one long monologue. He could have helped her to package up her message into more bite-sized pieces. Even without speaking fast and having no pauses, her message was going to be hard to grasp anyway because she was providing a lot of content. This massive content hits us like continuous waves, and each successive wave wipes out what came before it, so it is hard to internalize. From this perspective, we realize that having a lot to say and a lot of knowledge doesn't mean anything in terms of message delivery unless we know what we are doing. So, whether it's nerves or knowledge driving the problem, we need to give the audience the chance to chew a bit on what we have just said. This is where the pause comes in. once what we have said has sunk in, they are ready for the next section. If we are to stop the runaway train, we have to inject some silence into the proceedings. This presumes we notice what is going on. I doubt our speaker on the podcast had any clue of how she was coming across. She was powering away, ignorant of whether the way she was delivering the talk was effective or not. Unless she recognizes herself in this podcast of mine, she's probably still clueless and is likely to remain that way. This is a big danger because we can spend our whole career, or big chunks of it, doing things the wrong way. Most people around us are equally untrained. So who is there to give us the necessary feedback to be able to adjust and fix the issue? Usually, there is no one around. So off we go, year after year, repeating the same fault. Find out more. We come back from the break. Today's show is brought to you by our public courses, but we also are doing custom in-house programs. We do them in both Japanese and English. We do them in our super safe classroom and live online. On the 12th of April, we'll be holding our Dale Carnegie course, our flagship program. Only can get it here. You know, you can get leadership training, sales training, communications training, presentations training anywhere. A lot of people have that. Not as good as ours, though, but still, it's out there. But this one, you can only get this here. And the reason you can only get it here is because this is what Dale Carnegie came up with in the 1920s. He started with presentations training, actually. He started with public speaking training. But then, over a number of years, he realized his participants in his classes had many more needs than just one element. Through a lot of experimentation, a lot of trial and error, a lot of real-world laboratory research, he started to come up with areas that people needed help with, like leadership, communication, people skills, right? Stress management skills, how to expand your comfort zone, how to change your mindset, how to change, actually. And gradually he started to cobble all this together. And then he published the viral global bestseller of the time, How to Win Friends and Influence People, which was just a milestone in the self-development world. And also, of course, a major milestone for him as a trainer. That really ignited a global movement, and it still goes on today. Now, the thing is, the issues that people are facing in the 1920s, and when you read the original book, all those people are dead, of course, by now, but the issues that they faced, the problems they faced, are still here with us. We haven't advanced. We haven't improved. We're still facing the same issues they faced back nearly 100 years ago. The human condition should improve, but in this area, it hasn't improved. So we still need help with people. We still need help to communicate. We still need help to lead. We still need help to deal with our stress. And we still need help on how to expand our comfort zone and change our mindset and our behavior and do the things we need to do to be effective and successful. None of that has changed. This course addresses all of those things in one place. And that's one reason why it's particularly unique. Now, a few days later than that, on the 20th of April, we'll be doing our High Impact Presentations course. It's 2 days, 2 instructors, everything videoed. As I say, massive feedback, unbelievable feedback. I've been to presentation courses. I've taken the programs. There's nothing like this out there. You just can't get this level of feedback and coaching in these other programs because they just don't know how to do it. They're not trained as well as our trainers are. They don't have to go through 250 hours of train the trainer to get the first certification, which isn't even in this course. And then they've got to do another 6 days on top of that first 250 hours to be able to teach this course. That's a lot of time. It's not a weekend program. I'm going to get certified in a weekend. No, we're talking a year and a half here to 2 years. So only the hardy few are prepared to put up with that. But the product of that is the people who come through that program are just excellent coaches. They are really highly skilled. They are able to give all of the participants the right advice, the right coaching, the right feedback to help them grow over that 2 days of the main modules. It's a phenomenal program. It's a come in one end, go out the other end, completely changed, completely improved, and so much more effective. As I've said many times, I didn't do this program until I was probably in my 40s, I think. What a big mistake. What a big mistake. I did those other programs. I didn't do this one. What an idiot. I should have done this one in my 20s. Now, if you've got relatives, if you've got kids in their 20s, get them in this program now. It'll change their whole career trajectory. If you are not in your 20s, you're in your 30s or 40s or 50s or 60s, 70s, 80s, it doesn't matter. You still need it. If you want to communicate, if you want to be effective as person persuasion, this is the program you need. So this is one is coming up 20th of April. Go to our website at www.dale-carnegie.co.jp. Lots and lots of value there for you. To do better in Japan, email me at greg.story@dalecarnegie.com. If you like learning by watching videos, then we have nearly 2,000 there for you on Tokyo, Japan, Dale Carnegie TV on YouTube. We release 3 TV shows every week on YouTube. The Cutting Edge Japan Business Show, that's the premier business show on Japan, every Monday, Tokyo time. Fridays, we have the Japan Business Mastery Show. And on Saturdays, we release Japan's top business interviews, where I interview leaders from small, medium enterprises all the way up to the corporate captains of industry on one topic, leading in Japan. Every second Thursday, we release the Business Pro TV show. Get my best-selling books on business in Japan, the Bible on selling, Japan Sales Mastery, Zaegyo in Japanese, Japan Business Mastery, Japan Presentations Mastery, plus Stop Wasting Money on Training, which in Japanese is Toreini de okane o muru ni suru wa yamemashou, and all are available on Amazon. Welcome back. It doesn't matter whether we are speaking, answering questions on a panel, or in a podcast, we have to be in control of the delivery. We need to break our talk up into small packages for delivery, and we need some white space between them. The pauses are usually not overly dramatic and long. A 5-second pause sounds entirely normal and unremarkable. 10 seconds or more, however, and the audience wonders, what's going on? Have we forgotten what we want to say, or are we lost in our flow? Is there something wrong? On occasion, we may use that doubt and employ a long pause for dramatic effect. If we feel we are losing the attention of or concentration from our audience, and we see they are getting distracted, we need to get them back to listening to us. A longer pause has the effect of a pattern interrupt. And those who have tuned us out, thinking about something else, become puzzled by the change. This pattern interrupt forces them to come back to us to find out what's going on. Or we may use the longer pause to let a rhetorical question hang in the air for longer than normal. This creates some tension in the room because there is now a question as to whether we, the audience, have to come up with the answer or whether the speaker is going to answer that question. This tension is very useful for keeping the audience's attention focused on our talk. Sound bites, followed by pauses, may be useful for media interviews, but they don't work well in speeches. We need to make sure we have enough substance to our points to back up any statements we may be making. So, the balance between speaking and non-speaking periods needs to be considered. We can inject short pauses for audience comprehension purposes and still keep the flow going. Don't forget to pause. when you're delivering your talk? If you do, then you can be much more confident that the message you want to get across will be percolating away nicely in the brains of the audience. Did you get value from today's show? If you did, then share the love around with your family, friends, and colleagues. Don't forget to subscribe and share this podcast. Until the next episode, go out there and apply the learnings from today and become a presentations legend amongst your circle. Thank you for joining me, and please tune in next week. Remember, I'm in your corner, committed to your success here in Nippon.